Hi everybody, welcome back. Today, and actually maybe over the next few days, I wanted to do a process video showing how I'm going to be constructing my new junk journal. And I've decided for the first one I wanted to make, it was going to be a standard TN size, and I went online and I just kind of researched all the different sizes: the cashier, standard, personal, A6, field note, passport, and then teeny tiny. But I'm going to stick with the standard, and standard is approximately 4 1/4 by 8 1/4. I mean, sometimes it's 4 1/2 by 8 1/4, but it's roughly around that size from what all the research that I've done is telling me. So I don't know if you saw my video the other day. It was my small little Michael's haul. And in that haul, I picked up this paper pad. It's called Family Tree. It's by Recollections. See? Family Tree. And I knew I definitely wanted to make 2 journals with it. I wanted to do a TN size, and I also wanted to do the large 6x9 hardcover journal. So what I did first was I went through the papers and I decided what I wanted to pick for the cover and the inside of the cover. Because what I decided to do for this is the paper that I chose for the outside cover. This here is the paper I chose for the inside cover. So it's going to be like that. I thought that really went well together. Then what I did was I glued them together. And I mean, normally I like my Tombow glue or the, what is it, Aleene's tacky glue. But I mean, with this to go, it's tedious work just to, you know, line it and then hope it doesn't run or not run, but like bubble. So what I ended up doing was using this here. I believe I guess it's called Art Minds, and it's decoupage glue sealer with a gloss finish, but it's really good glue. And so what I did, I laid, you know, this paper down and I poured out. Well, I meant to slowly pour out. I tipped it too much and it was whoosh all over. So I had to kind of pick the paper up and put some back in. But then I just used my little trusty paintbrush here, and it's actually soaking right now. And I spread the glue all over, and then I took this sheet and I just laid it down on top, dried it with my heat gun, and so now it's nice and firm, or it's more sturdy for a cover. But also what I did was, let me get this paper here. I have the cut apart sheet from the paper stack, and I saw this little, oops, could you see that? This one right here, the lovely little bird. So what I'm going to do is that's going to be cut out, and I'm going to put it here, but behind that I'll probably put maybe a piece of either craft color or brown cardstock, and then attach this on it just to kind of give it some separation from the busyness of here. But I believe that's the one I want to use because that's pretty cute. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down to the size that I want. And I'm sorry, I don't know if I said before, I'm going to do this in a few parts so each video isn't too long. So this video will probably cut out the cover and do this and then attach it to the cover. And we'll see how far we get and how long the video has been. But let me just pause it real quick. I'm going to cut it down to size and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and as you can see, I cut this down, so now it should be 8 1/4 by 8 1/2. So we have the 8 1/2 side here, going this way, and then the 8 1/4, yep, perfect, going this way. So what I'm going to do first, actually, you know what, I'm going to round the corners first, just to make it look a little nicer. I like rounding corners on junk journals. I mean, not all of mine are rounded, but the ones that I do round, I do like the way it, oopsies, the way it finishes it. Okay, so now here we have it. I measure a lot because I don't ever want to fold the wrong way or anything like that. So I'm going to fold it down, and if I can find my bone folder, let's give it a little press to make sure that crease is good. Okay, so I was looking at that, and I like this side, but I'm figuring if I have something that is going to be covering the front, I don't really want to cover this, all of this, so I don't mind this for the back. And then what I also found, I'm going to use this. It's just burlap ribbon here, and looks like I'm going to have to trim it down a little bit. Layer this over it just to give it a little texture, so it's just not something flat there. But since this is kind of, you know, it's thin, I'm going to use this cardboard, and it's not chipboard, not really. It's I used to work at this place, and they had like different receipts and things, and this is like the back, so it would come in a pack, and all the loose receipts were on top, and then this was kind of the hard cardboard so that everything didn't fall apart. But I always kept them rather than throwing them away, because especially for this project, I'm going to use it to back up the little tag. And it's nice because it's not as heavy as regular chipboard, but it will give it some substance there. Also, I want to use my, this one is the Walnut Stain Tim Holtz Distress Ink, just to kind of have it not so white along the edges. I know there's that pretty scalloped pattern, but I think the brown will kind of complement like the brown in there and here as well. So just give it a little ink. And I'm going to glue this on, cut it out, and we'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see, oops, let me stand up. I cut out the image, and I backed it on the cardboard there, and then I re-inked around the edges so the cardboard can also take in some of the dark ink. And then I was playing around with the placement of where I want it to be. And as you can see, the burlap ribbon is not cut perfectly, but I kind of like that, like, kind of not unknowing. Now I'm trying to sound like some, I don't know, famous author. Now unknowingly, I've not really cut this. No, I'm just joking. But I kind of, when you cut stuff, you just kind of cut without measuring for junk journals. And it kind of gives it that little aged or vintage type undone look. I'm not saying a messy look, but purposely unorganized look, if that makes sense. So I think I like it like this. What I'm going to do is I'll probably use the tacky glue to glue down the burlap and then glue the little image onto the front. So I'll be right back. Actually, I completely fibbed. I'm not going to be right back because what I forgot to do, and I think I was just rushing because I was so excited about the image that I forgot to sew around my edges here. I like to always put a stitch all the way around the whole book. I mean, I did glue it, and I know the glue is not going to come undone, but I do the stitching around the edges for two reasons. First, it's definite, like, with the glue, with the sewing, this book is not going to come apart. But also, two, it looks nice for just like a little stitch to go around the edge. And I'll probably do the zigzag stitch all the way around, because I I'm quite fond of that one. So let me stitch around and then I'll be right back. Okay, so here is the result. As you can see, oh, maybe you can see, I've sewn all around the edges. You can see on the inside too. It's maybe a little easier, possibly. There you go. Sewed all around the edges, and then I glued the burlap down and then put the little image on top of that. So this is our little junk journal so far. I think it's, oh, can you see? There we go. Oh no, that's too much. Sorry about that. That's all right. So this is what we have so far. So we have the cover completely done, and you know what? Maybe it's not completely done because I'm sure, well, I can't really say, but I always like to add ribbon and stuff on it. But at the same time, I just don't want to take away from all the flowers and everything because it's so nice. And you know, I do have the burlap here, and I have this popped up onto the cardboard. So for now, we are finished with the cover. But disclaimer, I may change my mind 1,000 times before the end of this junk journal journey because sometimes things come to me and I want to add stuff or change something or whatever it might be. I can't change much, but you know what I mean. So I think I will end part 1 here because we did the cover and we did the embellishments on the cover. So part 2 will be, I'll probably do something with getting the pages ready. What pages I'm going to choose, cutting them down, maybe, you know, folding them, sorting them, that stuff like that. So stay tuned for part 2. Thanks for watching. Bye.